Well, I'm ready to tear into the front differential and all the steering components on this 85 Chevy. Once I get it down to where the axles are out, I'm gonna be going in and taking the carrier out of the front differential and attempting to change the inner axle seals to keep the fluid in the differential. Let's go ahead and tear into this thing so we can get this over with.
So there's a clip around the outside of this axle shaft that holds this in. Holds it from coming off the end of the axle shaft. It looks like I already took the clip off, and this is moving until it gets right to the end. I'm thinking over the years of abuse at the end of this, it's got a little bit of flat on it, maybe from bouncing around in here. But I'm gonna get a small file. Can't get that off of there. And I don't want to break this piece of the hub, so I'm gonna try to file out between the ends of these splines to help that come off. Got a little triangular file that's gonna be perfect. Got it. See these four little notches? They make a hub nut socket that fits in there. Makes it really easy to take these off and torque it down when you put it back together. They seem to be on the rare side. I never can find one. I'm sure they're out there, but I can never find them. They come off, with a screwdriver and hammer. It's not great for when you're trying to set the preload on that bearing, but it works. That's how I've always done it.
I don't know why I always try to talk to you guys when that heater's on. I know it screws up the audio big time. When we put this back together, we're going to want to use new hardware to hold that spindle on. That way we don't have an issue taking it off later on. You don't want to bang up anything on this spindle like where a bearing would ride. But in order to get this off here, you're gonna have to beat the hell out of it. You get a little gap up here, put a screwdriver in it, and hit it the other way. That'll bring the bottom out, vice versa. Right out. So I got this drag link that's just been setting in here. Kinda. This is the old one. I can't believe that actually came off there. You know what I told you about doing it the hard way, and if you want it done right, do it twice. They make tools for this, right? I used to have one, but I loaned it to somebody and I never seen it again. That was also probably 20 years ago. You go to like your big box parts store with the loan a tool program and get them. It's ball joint, U-joint press.
Okay. Well, inside here is where that wheel seals are.
Well, I'm going to start the daunting task of cleaning all the nasty grease and oil and water and mud out of the differential and all the other components that complete this front differential and braking and turning system. Let's tear into this cleaning project, which is going to suck because I'm on the ground and I don't do good on the ground. I'm going to try to wipe the majority of this sludge out and then douche it in that purple power. Try to loosen up what's left and use this little paintbrush that my wife left in here to scrub it around. These axles are out of a 3/4 ton Suburban or any other 3/4 ton setup, I guess, from 1974. This stuff might be frozen. Oh, there we go. It was just clogged. I tried squirting carb cleaner in there, carb or brake and choke cleaner, whatever you want to call it. This sludge is, oh, it's still so thick. It didn't even make a dent in the mess that's in here. So I'm kind of experimenting. Well, I got this thing cleaned up. Wasn't really that easy. The purple power, it didn't touch it. It didn't even make a slight difference. So I wound up using gasoline in my paintbrush and got it worked out. Got passenger side axle seal in. Getting ready to put this side in. I figured I'd bring you along for the ride. They make a special tool for installing these. You can get it on eBay. I got my own special tool. It's actually a 2-piece, great big socket, and a ball peen hammer. This socket on the inside goes over the actual sealing surface. Put it on. Just need to hit it harder. Those bearings are pressed on there. I was going to replace them, but I don't feel like messing around with that, so I'm just going to clean them up, set it back in there. There, busted that out of hell. Okay, so I don't know if that's going to pick up and transfer onto your screen. So this somewhere in here is how you find out the gear ratio. So I'll read you the numbers: 10, 23, 72. Maybe that was the manufacturer date. Dana. 18520. A3E63 45-11. Then over here it's got a 244. I think that's irrelevant as far as I know. I almost think it's this one. You gotta do some dividing or something with one of these numbers. Yeah. There's a reach out front there, or out back, I guess, as it is. And turn the pinion where the drive shaft hooks on. The pinion bearing isn't going to last very long. Here's my pile of parts that's left, minus the axle seals. I'm going to take all these part numbers in the house, and I'm going to start a little build sheet Bible type thing for this truck. I did pick up some new nuts to hold the outer spindle. So I got the camera, and that is a bucket of gasoline. Okay, that is definitely the last of the stuff that needs a gas bath. I got my custom ball joint press here, ready to go. Got these set up for a little bit of spacing because that ball joint does stick out the bottom of this knuckle. I'm gonna call this a knuckle, okay? So what you gotta do now is just beat on stuff until it goes in there. So I'm just gonna beat it. Ouch. There you have it. I want to see that it went in the carrier. It comes out through here, and I can see it right there, just outside of that spider gear. Well, it's kind of flush with it, so I'll put some grease. You see that needle bearing in there? That's probably wore out. If you've ever had those go bad, you maybe didn't know those were bad, or you know what happens when they go bad. It lets this axle shaft slobber around in there. That happened to me on an old plow truck I ran back in the day. It took an old timer catching up with me, told me what it was. You can buy them whole spindles with the bearings in them from LMC, or you can buy the bearing kit and replace it. A little groove right there. That's where the washer that goes in after your first nut, that can be set up here. You know, you can clock this to where that's upright. It's easier to see, makes more sense. Okay, here's the hub. The inner and outer wheel bearings go in there. This is essentially what holds the wheel onto the spindle. Where I got the brake rotor. Drop that bitch. Should have done this before. This right here is where the seal is gonna ride. Now, in regular use, even if the seal goes to shit, it will keep this pretty polished. Now, there was no seal on this side. It was totally gone. And this is starting to rust a little bit. So I'm gonna wire wheel it and then hit it with some sandpaper. We gotta take this back part because we forgot to put the thing that holds brakes on there, right? So there that is. I think where I was going before I had to tear this all down was I wanted to clean this spot up where the seal rides and put a little bit of grease on it. There. Now, you should have learned how to do this when you were like 8 years old. You want to do that until you see the grease coming out the top of these rollers. Watch this don't go. All right, we talked before about these. Washer. This is the inside one. It's got this little tit right there, okay? Goes on first, tit faces out. Now this washer has all these holes all the way around it. And it's got this little tongue right here. This little tongue goes in that groove. You want that tit to go inside of one of these holes, okay? You cannot put this together unless that tit is in one of them holes. So you just gotta test it. Put it on like this. If it don't line up, spin it around. Put it on that way. If it don't line up, you're gonna have to move the washer that has a tit on it to see if it'll go in. Usually, it'll line up. Smooth side wants to go in up against that washer now. That washer has the tongue on it. It's in the groove. It's got a pin or a tit inside of the hole. And all of that, with this locked in on it, is gonna keep this whole threaded assembly from backing out. And there probably is actual gaskets. That goes over the end of the axle. There's a little groove just inset. And then this goes in here like that. That's working. Okay, we're in the free position. This is the axle shaft right here. As I turn this, it does not turn. Turn that in the lock position, you'll hear it click. Now the axle's turning. Just what we're looking for. as far as this whole setup goes, it's done. I don't have the rubber lines that go from the caliper up to here. So everything here is new, all the way to the inner axle seal, and I'm gonna go do all the same fun stuff to the other side, except I'm hopefully gonna do it without having to tear it apart 3 times. The only thing I didn't do was the universal joint in the axle, but I checked both axle U-joints and they were mobile yet tight. Sometimes when them things are tight, they don't move real well. That's still a sign that they're bad. I'll give you a little update because today, this morning, before I came out here, I was searching Marketplace just because that's what I do. I bought these wheels, they're 18 by 12, last summer sometime. So there's no way I'm using these wheels. I found a guy on Marketplace who had a set of 305/70 18s. I was planning on going to get those to put on these wheels, so I had these on the truck. I'm gonna go down another hour farther from where I'm gonna get the tires to Emblenton, PA. And a guy has a 2-wheel drive frame that he cut the front off and made a trailer out of. It has this cross member, and it's a rust-free chassis. I'm gonna go get this done. I'll bring you back probably when I get the tires mounted on my rims. Another fact, those rims that I showed you are for 2008 Super Duty. They're the 170, 8x170 bolt pattern. I got these adapters from Custom Offsets. So they'll bolt on here, and then them rims can bolt on to these. That's gonna be pretty nice. All right, I'll get back to you when I'm all done, ready to put the tires back on. Hopefully they'll have new tires and rims. Well, I mentioned I was going to get tires today. At least that worked out. 305/70 R18. They're supposed to be just under 12 inches wide, just under 35 inches tall. But these were really cheap, and there's actually quite a bit of life on them still. Like, that's a lot. And there's the rim that they're gonna go on. And you get these bolted on the front end anyways, because that's all done. Now I'm gonna try to mount one of these tires on my rims by hand without a machine. Just gonna use my butter flavored Crisco and lube up the bead like I do on the big truck and try to jam that thing on there. See if I can do it without tearing it. Crisco might have been a little on the froze side, but it's all right. Yeah. Turn the rim over. That one a little better. Well, I got it on there. Helps if you pay attention to which way the rim is made, so they only typically accept the tire one direction because the lip in here is usually wider than the other side. Hopefully my big truck cheetah air up thing will blow these bitches on their wheels. That didn't take me very long to get irritated. Got the tire on there. Used my air blaster to try to blow the bead on there. That's a long ways to go. It's not even pretending. I had to take them somewhere to get it done, but they actually look the way I would expect them to look on there. They don't look like, you know, super stretched out like some of these rides. So got all 4 of them done. We'll be bolting the adapters on. Take that wheel off, of course, and then putting these on here pretty quick. I think I'm gonna wrap this one up on the front differential rebuild, putting all the ball joints and wheel bearings and all that stuff together to make this thing turn and roll down the road without falling apart. I got that side finished up. It went together a lot better than this side. As far as I went and rented a ball joint press. I don't know if I'm gonna put the front clip on or tear into the back end. Kind of do the same thing I did up here next. We'll see in the next video where I went, which route I went. So until then, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.